I finally got to play Gone Home, and oh my god, I really need to talk about this game. Before I continue, I want to say one thing. If you plan on playing Gone Home or you're slightly interested, just go out and do it right now and play it. It's worth your time, I loved it, go play it, it's fantastic. That's because this game needs to be gone in as clean as possible. It's better if you don't know much going into this game. Now, if you're not sure about whether you want to play Gone Home or not, I'll be talking about this game without any spoilers for the majority of the video, and that hopefully will help you sway you one way or the other. If you really want to play Gone Home already knowing what happens, I will have a spoiler section, but I recommend you do not watch that section until you've played the game. I'll have a link in the as an annotation where you can skip it and just go straight to the score after I'm done talking about the non-spoilery stuff. So please just go play it or watch the first half of this video and skip to the end after I put up the spoiler section. Yeah. Alright, here we go. So Gone Home is not your average game. It's more of an adventure game, but even then, adventure games kind of have puzzles to solve and specific things you gotta do before you move on. Well, this game is a lot more like an interactive story. There's beats that you hit, but once you hit those beats, you kind of know automatically what to do next. It's not really a puzzle as much as it is a flow of narrative. But that's part of what makes Gone Home so great. You're so invested in the story and in the characters, you just want to find out what happens next right away. And you end up playing the entire game in one sitting, which ends up being about maybe between an hour and 3 hours depending on how meticulous you are. So in the game you play as Katie, the oldest daughter in the family, who comes home from her trip to Europe only to find a letter on the door from her sister Samantha that leaves you with a sense of dread. The note from Sam tells Katie not to go digging around the house, not to tell mom and dad or anyone her whereabouts, and not to worry that they'll see each other again someday. And you are instantly drawn in and want to figure out what happened to Sam, why is his house empty? And it kind of just goes on from there. You walk into the house, you explore every single room, trying to figure out what happened to these people, and you find little clues and start piecing the story together on your own. And the world makes this all so enticing. Every little detail is so perfect, and it makes the environment so believable. And that's what makes this game partly so amazing. For example, there are many objects in the house that you can just pick up and examine, and none of these have any impact on the story. They're just there for the environment to help sell that this is a real place, and it does it all so well. Plus that and the voice acting and how well these lines are delivered and all the emotion behind them just keeps pushing that bar higher and higher. Speaking of the audio logs, that is the main way that the story in Gone Home is told. Every time you pick up an object that's important to the story, one of Sam's audio log journals starts playing. And it's done so well to the point where the majority of the audio logs I picked up had me in tears. And oh man, there were so many tears. What really makes this game so amazing and so beautiful is how everyone playing it can relate to the characters and the overall basic story. Not only have we gone around our own houses all alone just trying to find stuff, snooping around, but we all can relate to the feelings that these characters have. We've all been where Sam has been, even if the exact details that make Sam Sam are unrelatable to some of us. I feel like I almost did a little bit too much at the end of that last clip, so I'm just gonna start going into spoilers already. Here's the link. Click this if you don't want to be spoiled. It'll take you directly to the end of the video where I talk about the score to the game and my final thoughts, which are not spoilery at all. So go, click this, spoilers start now. So as you progress through the game, you find out that Sam is in a relationship with a girl named Lonnie. And that's what makes this game so relatable and so emotional, is that we've all been there. We've all been around her age in high school with these feelings of not knowing where you belong and not knowing if anyone understands you, or feeling that everyone is against you. But you also have these feelings where you finally meet someone who you feel you can connect to and you just feel at home with whenever you're around them, and that nothing else in the world matters as long as you're with this person. It's these feelings of love and friendship and coming of age that... oh, shit. It's these themes of love and friendship and coming of age and family that bring you back to that time when you remember that you were going through the exact same things, and when you hear Sam just talk about these, you instantly know what she's feeling, and you empathize with her so much that you can't help but feel a strong emotional connection or reaction. The game essentially ends with Lonnie having to leave for basic training for the army, leaving Sam alone and scared and sad, and you can't help but feel those same emotions because you spend so much time just reading and learning about the relationship between these two girls. You feel so connected. You feel like you're actually Sam's sister playing in this game, figuring out what happened to her and worrying about her. And then when you find out that Lonnie couldn't go through with it because she cared about Sam so much that she didn't get on the bus, and she called Sam to come pick her up and find her, and then Sam just exactly that, leaves everything behind, you're at first happy for these two characters because then they can be together in this old past world that doesn't understand them. But at the same time, you're her sister, you're Katie, so you feel this urge to worry about what's gonna happen to them now, because the game just ends there. You don't get a resolution besides Sam is with Lonnie and they're okay, assuming so. And it's a little heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because we've all been there. We've all been in a situation where we feel that nothing is working out right, nothing makes sense, and you just want to run and go somewhere with the persons you care about the most, whether that be your significant other or your best friends. You just want to escape. And how well this game, personifies that and makes that shine through what the story it's telling was so powerful that I couldn't help but just be in tears at the end of that game. And one last thing I want to touch on is, early in the video I said we can all relate to the very basic, story of these characters, but the details, while we might not be able to relate with them, still help sell the story. Obviously, I'm talking about the fact that Sam and Lonnie are gay. Now, I didn't want to bring this up too much because it seems a lot of people are taking this as the game is pushing an LGBT agenda or something stupid like that. And it isn't. It isn't a story about a gay girl and her girlfriend and what happens to them. It's a story about love and growing up that happens to have a gay character. And the fact that people are sensationalizing this and making it into this giant headline, I think it's ridiculous. The game is set in 1995, a time where society was probably a little bit less progressive. And I think this making the main characters gay just solidifies the fear of not belonging and of, a teenager growing up trying to figure out who they are and dealing with all the hardships. But even that little detail that makes that character be unrelatable to me, there are so many other things that I can relate to besides, the basic tones of the story and the feelings. The fact that Lonnie is leaving straight after high school to go to basic training actually hit me pretty hard. The reason for that was because when I left high school, one of my best friends left right after graduation to go to basic training, but in this case it was the Marines. He was a friend that I loved hanging out with because no matter how shitty I felt, he could always make me laugh. We always had the dumbest, funniest conversations, and he was always, my go-to friend to kind of just escape from everything. And having him leave for an entire year without any contact was really shitty. And that kind of surprised me a lot, the fact that I can relate to these characters so specifically into what feels like kind of a coincidence. So there you go, that's it for my spoiler section. I love this game. I'm gonna give it a review score. There is so much I like about this game, I can't just narrow it down to one thing. The story and the emotions and the characters all felt so real that I felt like if I knew these people, I would instantly get along with them. The characters, specifically Sam and Lonnie, seem like such cool people. I would love to be their friends. And then the environment, all the details put into the objects, the great writing and voice acting, so much love and work was put into this to make sure that all this stuff feels so real, and it's succeeded 100 times over. Though at one point I felt like I kind of guessed the end of the game, but even then that didn't take away from the story because I actually had multiple thoughts of how the story would end, and a lot of those details I got wrong, even for the one that I thought that actually ended up being the ending. As for something I disliked about the game, I honestly can't think of a thing. It's not often I can do that about any medium, but this game, literally, I can't think of anything I disliked. So I'm giving this game a perfect 5 out of 5. Do yourself a favor and play Gone Home. Please, 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 please play Gone Home. If your reaction to this game is even a fraction of how I reacted to it, it is more than worth it.